Welcome back, and this is the Eastern Business Report. Across many parts of southeastern Nigeria, households and businesses have been dealing with frequent power outages and long hours without electricity. For many small and medium-scale businesses, this means higher operating costs, slower production, and in some cases, a complete halt in daily activities. Electricity is central to economic growth, and when supply becomes unstable, the impact is quickly felt across markets, factories, offices, and homes. Many consumers say they want clearer explanation about what is happening in the power sector and what solutions may be on the horizon. To bring us up to speed on what exactly is happening, I have Mr. Emeka Eze, who is his group head, corporate communications, EEDC. Mr. Emeka, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yes, last week we reached out. You were really not available, so I am so delighted that you're here.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so the clarity that we need, right? I want it to be broken down for a lot of people listening, because people of the opinion that people, guys in the power sector wake up and off the light and go and sleep, wake up again and on it. So what is really happening? What is happening in the power sector? The outages, the blackouts that we're experiencing, what is fueling this?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. I most appreciate you for giving us this platform.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. The situation we are having currently in the sector is one that nobody is happy about. A situation where you're not getting the raw material that you need to serve your customers. It is worrisome. And it boils down to the constraint that the gas suppliers are having within their own space. It's also important for us to understand what makes up the value chain, what's the team that work together to ensure that the customer gets supply. We have the electricity value chain made up of the generation company, transmission company, and the distribution company. They are independent, but they work together to deliver that service to you. Unfortunately, the challenge we are having currently has to do with the generation companies. They're having gas constraints. They are not able to fire their plants to generate the quantum of energy that we need to meet your needs. By you, I mean our customers.
Yeah.
So that's dropped the quantum of allocation that each of the distribution companies are getting. It's also important to mention that this is a national situation. It's not something peculiar to the Southeast or Enugu. So that brought down our allocation from around 400 megawatts to as little as 190, 200 megawatts for the 5 Southeast states. So that will give you a picture of what we are in. And if you're looking at the larger picture, from a generation of about 5,000 megawatts, we're now talking about 3,000 megawatts for a country of over 200 million.
Yeah, of course.
So this is just a pointer to the problem we are having. So for the end users, for the customers, what that means is that you're not getting the hours of availability that you've been used to, because the allocation the distribution company is getting has dropped. And what happens is that the Nigerian Independent System Operator, that's this arm that is responsible in managing the grid to ensure that whatever is generated is managed within the grid to avoid disturbances. They manage the allocation and send to the distribution companies and regulate from the transmission end. So that's basically what has been happening. We are not getting enough allocation to meet the needs of our customers.
So it's more like an infrastructure deficit on the generation part. It's not even the 6.8 trillion naira debt that they are being owed by the federal government.
Okay, you might not separate, you cannot separate that from it, because the gas suppliers need to be paid. You're running a business, somebody is supplying you raw material, and you're not living up to your obligation. The person will not continue to provide that service to you. So it is a pointer to the problem they are having. They need fund to meet their obligation with the gas suppliers. And it's also important to mention that over 75% of the energy that we use come from gas-fired plants. And with the situation we have on ground, it's a clear, pointer to what we're all facing.
Okay, with what we are facing, many consumers are also complaining that the distribution companies are quick to send bills even when supply is poor. With what we're experiencing, by the end of the month, they definitely would send out their bills. And it's still what
if the supply is poor,
yes,
you still have to pay for the poor supply. So
but it's always the billing is so much.
I mean, it's relative. I might not be able to speak to that. But what we know is that we put all these into consideration in our billing. So if, for example, there's no supply, to you within the month in view, nobody will bill you for that period. You might still get your bill reflecting the status of your account. Maybe the current month, you'll say nil or zero. But if you have arrears, the arrears will be brought forward, just like you do in the banks. You might not do transaction for 2 months, but every month you get your statement of account, giving you the status of your financial position. So when people say there is a poor supply, even if I give you supply for 1 day, I'll bill you for that 1 day. So there's no energy that will be consumed that will not be paid for, because we, the operator, we pay for energy that is willed to us. So no matter if the allocation dropped or it goes up, whatever is moved to us, we are invoiced and we pay. And we expect the customers that consume that low allocation to also pay. So if you have issues bordering on the bill, as a customer, you have the right to contest the bill. So if you feel that what you're being billed is too much, like you presented it, you raise it as at the customer service unit, and they will look at it and explain to you. And where you're not satisfied, there are channels through which you can also push it further. But we try as much as possible, understanding the scenario and what is happening at the moment, to ensure that customers are billed based on whatever.
Power consumed.
Power consumed.
Okay, I just want to take you back to the generation company, because you mentioned that they're not able to generate enough, right? And also there's this part of the conversation that, yes, the generation company, they are trying their best, but the national grid currently is not able to carry out the power that is being generated. Is that a fact?
Okay, these are some of the challenges that the Ministry of Power is trying to, address. We hear all sorts that the quantum generated is not enough to be wheeled to the distribution space. The truth of the matter is that there are areas of improvement within the distribution, within the transmission, within the generation. The link is the transmission. And there's a lot of projects, cement project and other projects aimed at expanding the grid to be able to take in more power. If the GenCos we have today begin to fire full capacity, we might have that problem. The grid might not be able to wheel it. That is the fact on ground. And that is why effort is being made to strengthen the grid and expand it such that it can be able to take more, and push to the distribution companies.
The discos. Okay, we have actually cited the part of what the sector is doing, government and all of that. Let's bring it down to the citizens, because we know there's illegal connections and everything. How much is this affecting what we are going through right now? All this illegal bypassing of light and stuff, and a lot of people don't have meters. So how is this also part of the problem that we are facing currently?
Okay, for those customers that are not metered, these are also part of the things we inherited from the then PHCN and NEPA. And conscious effort is being made to close the metering gap. There's a metering program.
Before you continue, do people still pay for meters?
Okay, it depends on how you're looking at it. Okay, I'll still come to that.
Okay.
So there's a conscious effort to close the metering gap, and some programs have been introduced by the regulator to close the gap, seeing the funding challenge that the discos are faced with. We have the Meter Acquisition Fund. We just concluded the Tranche B We did the tranche A, tranche B. We concluded tranche B by January this year, and we got about 13,300 and some fraction meters. Tranche A gave us 13,614 meters. Okay, so if you sum it up, you can see that those number of customers are off the bucket of unmetered customers. So that's a conscious effort, steady and conscious. Yeah. So they, at no cost, they didn't pay for it. They didn't pay for this very one.
This
free.
tranche, there
this
is 3,000 what again?
16,614. That's for tranche A.
Wow.
Tranche B was 13,335. So if you sum it up, these are customers that got metered at no cost.
Wow.
There's also a metering program called Meter Asset Provider. It's also an initiative of the regulator aimed at closing the gap. That allows customers to pay for meter and be reimbursed. If you pay, it's just like advancing loan to us because we don't have the resources to meter you. You give us loan, we get the meter installed for you, and we pay you back through energy. As you recharge, you get a fraction of that cost of that meter. So if you look at it, it's win-win for everybody. So these are metering interventions that are introduced to close the gap. There's also another one, this rep, which is also going to be free to customers, supported by the World Bank. Is a long-term loan that's advanced to the sector to close the metering gap. So all these are geared towards...
But the World Bank has it started, the program for the World...
For our own space, we've not kicked off, but the whole arrangement is already on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they are all conscious effort geared towards closing the gap. So customers are encouraged to take advantage of the MAP, which is currently running because we've closed the MAF, that's Meter Acquisition Fund. The tranche A, tranche B has been concluded. We are hoping that tranche C will commence so that more and more customers will get. So if customers are metered, it takes away all those frictions that we experience because there's no bill that you present to a customer that is not metered that will be accepted. But you see some of them that are now metered, they begin to realize that they've been, enjoying over the time because you're now paying for the actual consumption that you're
the power that you consume.
Yeah. So it is best for us to have all our customers metered, but unfortunately, we don't have the resources to embark on that project. But these programs have been helping us, close the gap. Those are my talk on
what you
issues
guys
around meter.
Okay. I also love the fact that's beautiful, and you actually occupy a very prestigious position in your sector, Eedc'S, right? And as well, Main Power. You also have your part there as well.
Yeah, we have Main Power. That's a distribution company that is responsible for Enugu State.
Yes. Okay, and some part of Anambra State, if I'm not.
Anambra has First Power.
Okay, first.
We now have Discos that are subsidiary of Eedc's by virtue of the Electricity Act of 2023, which allows states to now generate, transmit, and distribute. It also allows the Discos to set up a subsidiary company that will be interfacing with the State Regulatory Commission. So in Enugu, we have Main Power. In Anambra, we have First Power. In Imo, we have Transpower. In Ebonyi, we have Eastland. And in Abia, Umuahia, we have New Era. These are distribution companies standing on their own, running affairs within the states that they cover.
I love the fact that you mentioned the part where stated now the constitutional backing to be able to generate, distribute, and transmit electricity. And what are we doing around this region? Because I know for Afia State, they have started something. Even though that all of the local governments, they have not, yes, they're benefiting from it, but some local government already benefiting. What is Enugu doing differently to do, in this sector, in the power sector, to get us out of this, from our reliance on the national grid? What are we doing? You should be in talks with the government and know what they're doing.
I will say that Enugu State is the very first state to take that bold step. Embrace the opportunity that the Electricity Act has provided.
Wow.
They are the first to set up their own regulatory commission.
Okay. Yeah.
So at least you give them
the ERC.
Kudos. So and within the state, a lot is happening. Okay, I'm not a spokesperson for the state government, but I
Okay,
know
yeah.
they are doing a lot to create the enabling environment, to attract investment.
Okay.
The Regulatory Commission is also engaging with some critical stakeholders or investors that have interest in coming into Enugu to play. I'm also aware that they are also making arrangements to generate power from coal.
Cool,
Of course,
yeah.
you know we
I
have
had that news
coal
from
deposit
last
in
week.
Enugu.
Yeah.
So it's an advantage for us in Enugu here. We have the raw material. It's just to turn it around and convert it to energy. So a lot is going on, but until they begin to,
Yes.
crystallize.
Yes.
That's only when
Comes
we,
visible.
the end users,
Yes.
But is a long walk, and the right foundation has been set. We're also calling on investors to come in, because without investors, we won't do much. We need foreign direct investments to come into the state in the area of generation, in the area of network expansion, in the area of technology. Of course, technology is one of the areas that we are also embracing to make us more efficient and deliver good service to our customers. So I would say that the state is doing their own bit to,
get us out of this whole situation.
Yeah,
how long is this expected to last for, these outages? Are we looking at in the next 2 months we're out of this? 2 months is actually long, but a lot of people looking at me right now like, no, 2 months. How long are we looking at?
Okay, until the issue that brought us this far is addressed.
From the Gencos?
From the government, federal government. Gencos are being owed 6 trillion. I mean, look at the figure.
Yeah, 6.8 trillion.
If you're a business and somebody is holding your money, just like for us in the distribution company, we have our funds tied out there by uncollected, by unpaid bills, by energies that are stolen. You made mention of meter theft and all those things. These are areas where we record losses.
And just to the emphasis, someone will still have to pay for that lie down.
Somebody has to pay for it. Either the disco pays for it or, customers pay for it. So it's a big challenge.
Sure.
So in ensuring that this sector delivers what we want of it, everybody needs to work together. We need to work together. The end users, those that have been metered, and they are now bypassing the meter. What's the essence of giving you meter? For you to manage your consumption. People do that as well? People do it. Industries, hotels, they do it. I have videos of such things. I can show them to you. So it is something that we all need to kick against. And it's really impacting on the sector. Okay? MDA debts that are not being paid, these are also part of the challenge we have. Okay. So I just hope that the issue is resolved soon. The critical stakeholders are always talking and discussing on the way forward. Okay. We need to come out of this, because all the grounds that we have covered over the period, we are losing them as a result of this very challenge.
Yeah. Okay, so before we end the show, you just have to leave us with solutions that you think people can rely on until this whole situation is resolved. Cheaper solutions.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to, on behalf of the sector, apologize to our customers.
Please apologize to us.
Yeah. Because this is not, we didn't bargain for this. But unfortunately, for us as a distributor, we are constrained. We only distribute what we get. And the allocation that we are meant to push to you has dropped drastically. We're talking about 200 megawatts for the 5 southeast states. So by the time you do the arithmetics, you begin to imagine what comes to Enugu State, for example. And that's far from what we need to, address our energy needs. So we are hoping that this issue is addressed. And while we are working at that, we ensure that whatever allocation we get, we try to be fair in the distribution to ensure that everybody gets a feel of that allocation.
Okay, so because of you have given us clarity, I think we'll stop calling you guys Ewetewelu. All right, thank you very much,
Thank you for
Mr.
having
Mekeze,
me.
for coming
Thank you.
on the Eastern Business Report. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Eastern Business Report, and the Afia Business Morning returns tomorrow. Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Norma Anibene. Bye for now.